Hey, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Veach season. One more week and still not canceled. One more week, and we are still your guest hosts, Rocky Magaña and Kramer Sansone, filling in for the Chiefs GM himself, Brett Veach, who has yet to come and actually work a day in his job as the host of this podcast named after him, Veach season. Someday he may actually show up, Kramer.
Sure.
But not today, a-holes. You're still stuck with us, unfortunately.
Surprise.
Surprise, not surprise, right? It's like, it's the least surprising thing in the world that Brett Veach is not hosting this podcast today, and it's still us.
One day, and you know what, that day, it's going to be very magical and special, but someday it will happen, Rocky.
Some, like they say, there's certain industries where you know you did a good job if you put yourself out of business or something like that, right? Or they say you're like a good manager if somebody you managed is like your counterpart someday on the same level as you or your boss. I don't know what all that bullcrap that they say, right?
Right.
We'll know that we did a good job if we keep this podcast alive long enough and get enough listeners that Brett Veach actually wants to take over this podcast or just appear on it at some point in his life.
Like a guest host. I would love that for him.
Yeah, just come in and just guest host and just be like, listen here, you sons of bitches, move over. I'm going to show you how this thing is actually done. And let's be honest. There's Brett Veach, he's not the tallest man in the world, but he has a case to possibly be the most yoked GM in the NFL. The man doesn't skip upper body workout. I don't know about leg day. I haven't seen him in shorts. I've seen him in shorts, but not often enough in shorts to really be
the podium
a connoisseur.
So
yeah, I'm not a connoisseur of his legs. I need to spend some more time, gazing at his calves to really kind of wrap my eyes around what's going on the lower half of his body. But upper half, you can tell that he gets his upper body workout in. He hits the bench, he gets the traps, lats, pecs, all that worked out. All the other muscles on your upper body. I don't know anatomy, you guys. I'm obviously not a doctor.
You're doing a good job, though. You said yes. You actually hit majority of the upper body stuff. Yes,
I've lifted weights before. I've hung out with bros who lift weights before. I know the buzzwords. It's a hit. But yeah, no, Brett Veach might be the most yoked GM in the NFL. Let us know in the comments. Leave a 5-star review. Tell us if you think he's the most yoked GM in the NFL, or if he's not.
Hold up. If there was a WWE style Royal Rumble, you think Brett Veach outlasts everybody?
I feel like, God rest his soul, I feel like Brett Veach is like the Bret Hart of GM.
Bret Hart's very much alive.
Oh, okay, it's cool. So, but is he still active? Is he still wrestling?
He doesn't wrestle anymore, no, but he shows up.
Yeah, so R.I.P. his career then.
There you go.
R.I.P. his activity.
His brother passed away, Owen. Yeah.
Oh, and that's what I thought. Okay, well, I feel like he's more Bret Hart than Owen Hart. He's one of the Hart brothers.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I could see that, and then I don't know.
Brett did win a Royal Rumble. I'm pretty sure. Get fact checked. If I'm wrong, please someone correct me. I think he was 1-1.
I mean, you're the official WWE, correspondent of each season, and we're really going to lose all credibility with the people if you're wrong about this fact, Kramer. So,
1993. I can talk.
Oh, give the guy a break. He wasn't even
alive yet.
He wasn't even a glimmer in his dad's eye yet at that point. Okay, so yeah, I think that Brett Veach would be like Bret Hart. And John Lynch would be who's like the really annoying like heel type of guy.
I mean,
like if The Rock was a bad guy, that annoying jackass type of guy.
Yeah, Rock's been a great heel. Rock's always been a great heel.
Yeah, back when Rock was a heel, but I don't want him to be anybody who's that successful, right? So somebody who's
a Super Bowl champion, so I mean he does have some honor.
John Lynch.
Yeah, didn't he have the Buccaneers?
Not as a GM though.
Not as GM, you're correct. But he has went out there and went to war and has won Super Bowl in his time.
He's also lost 2 Super Bowls in the second half to the Kansas City Chiefs.
And The Rock has lost a couple times at WrestleMania. So I mean,
all right. So then if if we're gonna let John Lynch be the Rock, then Brett Veach, he's not Stone Cold Steve Austin, but he'd be like stunning Steve Austin, like like Steve Austin's precursor to when he was Stone Cold. Yeah, like the stunning Steve Austin days. Like I could see Brett Veach being that, you know.
If he could just open up a can of whoop ass on John Lynch, that'd be hilarious.
That'd be so great. That'd be so great. Who's the Raiders GM these days?
Mark Davis. Wait, no, not Mark. He's the owner. My gosh,
Mark Davis. You don't even know your own team. Raider Nation, pull his Raider card. He's not even a real fan. Mark Davis, Mr. Bull Cut, big boy.
I don't know why. I don't know. I went owners. I don't know why I went owners. Why can't he's blanking me right now?
Mark Davis looks like he still wears pull-ups to bed at night. My God, like who's your guy?
Tom Telesco. I can't stand him.
That's even
I can't
worse.
stand Tom Telesco.
The guy who
that's why I forgot about it.
Literally left the Chargers
exactly
at the worst cap space in the history of the NFL, and then just waltzed out the door and said, "I'm going to go to Las Vegas and become a GM there now."
Tom Telesco's like, I mean, I love the Raiders, you know it, but he's your comedic act that goes to the Royal Rumble, gets eliminated in 3 seconds.
Yeah, like Tom Telesco was like, who's the guy who used to be? Was it Jerry Lawler or whatever? The guy who used to be like an announcer who would try to get in the ring and then get the crap smacked out of him every single time.
Yes.
Like that's Tom.
That's
Telesco.
Tom. I could see
that's
it.
Tom
I really
right
could.
There.
I could.
Well, yeah. So, and we don't care. We don't care about who the Chargers' new GM or who the Broncos GM is. We're done playing this game. But
hey, what's hot with Kramer Dog? Let's go right into
it. So hey, what's up? What's hot with Kramer Dog?
So I'm a movie connoisseur. I do go out of my way to watch the movies, but I don't like watching the trailers. But a trailer that sparked my eye. I know the movie's going to come out in July 26th. But I don't know if you've seen Deadpool 3's trailer with Wolverine in it. Rocky. I'm a Marvel guy. I absolutely cannot wait because I love Wolverine and I love Deadpool. Mash them together, it's going to be a magical masterpiece of cinema that I cannot wait. And I watched the first trailer of it and I'm hooked and I cannot wait till July 26th.
I'm hit and miss with Wolverine on whether I love. Like, here's the deal: the Wolverine movie was terrible. It was absolutely just horrible. It wasn't good. The Logan movie, though, the one that like takes place like the post, that was awesome.
Yeah,
that movie was super cool. I do like Deadpool. I almost feel like they've ridden the Deadpool train as far as they can go. Is it really going to be better than the last one? Like the last one was kind of a high watermark in like superhero comedy. Are you going to be able to top it? Because like, here's the thing I was actually thinking about. Me and a buddy were talking about this just the other day, is at some point, the shock value of the jokes, like you run out of room to keep going up, right? Like you can keep like how much higher can you raise the shock value? When I was like 20 years old and I saw Van Wilder in the theater for the first time, that blew my mind. And I was on the floor laughing. Like that was one of the funniest movies I had ever seen at that point in my life. And I thought it was awesome. But I think if that movie came out today, it would just be another movie. Like it wouldn't have the same shock value as it had back then because it's become such commonplace. And so I think that and I don't think that's a bad thing. I love movies. I love to laugh. But I think that it's harder to get those shock laughs out of people, and you got to be really, really creative with them these days. I'm a little bit of a movie connoisseur myself. I used to be a whole lot more of a movie connoisseur, and when you have wife and kids, you become less of a movie connoisseur. But the other day, after everybody went to bed, I watched the movie Strays on Amazon Prime. It's like Homeward Bound if it was voiced by Will Ferrell and Jamie Foxx and produced by Seth Rogen. It wasn't produced by Seth Rogen, but you can imagine the type of movie.
So is it pretty funny?
Oh, it's hilarious. And when I'm talking about like the shock value, like that movie actually, like here's the thing. It's not a good movie. Like it's a series of bits that are one after the other that are all pretty funny and entertaining. Will Forte plays plays the owner of Will Ferrell as a dog, and the whole premise is ridiculous. Will Forte is a horrible owner who's kind of abusive to Will Ferrell, and Will Ferrell is a dog and who voices a dog, and he just wants to be called a good boy. And Will Forte is just mean to him and drives him to another city and drops him off in the middle of downtown alone, and then drives away just to leave him and abandon him. And so then he meets Jamie Foxx, who's a stray dog, and Jamie Foxx helps him realize that he was abandoned and that his owner actually doesn't love him. So then they hatch a plan to find their way back home to Will Ferrell's house with the express reason of biting his owner's you know what off.
Oh, nice.
And that's the whole premise of the movie. Is it's like Homeward Bound, but they want to get home so they can bite the guy's thing off.
That's
And
awesome.
yeah, it's awesome. And the sticks in it and the bits in it are awesome. And it actually caught me off guard. That being said, if I was like giving it like, it'd be like 4.5 stars out of 10 on a quality level, but on a laugh level, it's great.
Here's the thing. I don't. I believe Deadpool 3 is going to be still super hilarious. It's still going to be like how it was with Deadpool 2. And you know what? I think it's going to be one of the best Marvel movies they're going to put out in a hot minute. So it's been a very long time. Plus, also, I'm a big Fox guy. I always the X-Men stuff as well. Always growing up. That's just why I just love it. I know it's going to be good.
Listen, I hope so. Like I said, I love the Deadpool movies, and I do enjoy most of the Wolverine movies, and I like that character as far as the superheroes go. I do think on some level there is a little bit of like audience fatigue with how many superhero movies there are that come out, like Madam
Oh, I agree.
Web. Like eventually you're just like,
All these minuscule characters, yeah.
yeah, we don't need a movie for every single one of them just so that they can appear in the next Avengers movie or whatever. Like just bring them in to the Avengers movie and people will know who they are because they're a superhero. But but yeah, I hope it's awesome. I have high hopes for it as well. I don't want to be a naysayer. I don't want to be known as the negative guy who doesn't like Wolverine and Deadpool. Like that guy sounds like no fun to hang out with whatsoever. Like,
Very true.
hey, can you be my friend? No, you don't even like Wolverine and Deadpool, and you just like to shit on things 24/7. So no, nobody wants to be your friend. Go sit in the corner by yourself, Magaña, you cranky old bastard. Yeah, I don't want that to be me. So because of that, I'm saying that I'm worried, but I have hopes that it's going to be as great as we hope it is.
I'm hoping we get a text message once this thing goes out of Serta's take on all of this. I know he's going to watch it day one.
Oh yes, Serta's going to definitely have a take, and I'm going to get Serta on this show here pretty soon, hopefully
Nice.
to be a guest. And when we have him on here, we'll ask him his take on the Deadpool series and on Deadpool and Wolverine.
Works for me.
Where he's at.
That is what's hot with Crame Dog, though.
That is what's hot with Stream Dog. And it's always hard with the crossovers. Like the crossovers are always dangerous. Like Alien versus Predator, not as good as Alien or Predator.
Very much true. Very much true.
So yeah. All right. So we've been looking. So last week we talked a little bit about 5-star reviews, and guys, we didn't get any 5-star reviews this week.
Boo.
It's fine. Boo. Yeah, I know it's not fine. Yeah. It doesn't have to be a 5-star review. Just leave a review in general, and we'll read it on the show.
Yeah,
just because we think it'd be fun. Ask us any questions, whatever you want. Just throw it out there, and we'll read it on the show. Otherwise, we'll sit here sadly again next week and say we don't have any more 5-star reviews.
I keep booing at you.
Boo!
Boo!
Boo! What movie is that? There's a movie where they're like, boo!
Boo this man!
Yeah.
I just know the GIF. I'm not sure what movie it is.
Yeah. Anyway, so the Chiefs were at the White House recently. They came with the White House this week. They met. They did their trip to the White House to celebrate the championship, and that's always a lot of fun. You know, you gotta love it. It was interesting that after standing on stage and begrudging the president for his entire speech, Harrison Butker stood there in the back row very quietly and visited the White House. And listen, It's a once in a lifetime event. It's a big deal. You won the championship. You want to go to the White House. You want to be part of the celebration. You want to be celebrated. You want to be congratulated. I don't care that he went. Um, but at the same time, if you really did feel as seriously about the things that you said, like,
I know what you mean. I know what you
I
mean.
mean, like, I'm not saying he shouldn't have gone, but I'm also saying when I saw him in the back row there, I was like, nah, I don't know. I don't know, Harrison.
But I'm not gonna. I'll be that guy. There might be other people that were on the team that might have his same opinions.
Well,
Maybe
100%. They're guaranteed there
they just didn't
probably
want to speak
is.
out about it. Which I mean, you have every right to
And
enact your
you have
freedom of
every right to
speech.
believe whatever you want.
Do
No,
I
it's
believe
fine.
what
Like,
Harrison Butker said? No, 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 no.
here's the thing. And honestly, even if I did believe what Harrison Butker said, I would still go to this. I'd still go to the
Oh
White
yeah,
House.
no,
If I'm being
yeah,
honest. I mean,
yeah.
100%. Like, I don't care who it is. You're going to the White House. You're meeting the president. It's a big deal. You're being celebrated. I mean, you should go. That being said, Kelsey finally got on the mic, which is kind of a big deal for him. Last year, he almost got on the mic, and then Mahomes was like, "No, buddy, get away from the microphone. You're gonna get taken down by Secret Service. You're not allowed to do this right now." But then old Joe Biden called Travis Kelsey up to the microphone and gave him the mic to say whatever he wanted to say. And what was your reaction? How do you feel about Kelsey on the mic at the White House?
I mean, I thought it was funny. I'm more curious whether or not if he was fed that line to say that he has the possibility of getting tased up there if he had talked too much or got too close. If that was actually legit and true, oh my gosh, that is absolutely hysterical. But I mean, I you can't really like read into it that much. I think it's just there for just the cheap laugh, the cheap pop. I'm all here for it. And I mean, give Travis a mic. Like we already know what he can do on the mic, on the field and off the field. So anytime he's in front of a camera with the microphone in his hand, I'm all here for it.
Yeah, when I saw it, I thought this is Travis trying to be on his best behavior. Like
Oh yeah,
Travis has like been tried really, really hard to hold it together and not do anything too outlandish that's going to either get him tased or get him in trouble with his lady for causing a scene at the White House.
well,
I thought to myself that I think that Taylor was like, he was like, don't go home to Taylor and have to explain yourself today.
the Chiefs now make regular trips to the White House, and like I don't know if you heard what Patrick Mahomes said about it, saying that he felt like a little tour guide, like pointing things out to people. Hey, there's that, there's this. That's hilarious. I mean, I want to see this three-peat happen, so it can be another hilarious stick of like, hey, we're back at it again over here.
Yeah.
But it's just funny. It's a good moment. The audio for this came out great because I feel like the past couple of times that they've went to the. Well, I mean, it was the last two times that they went to the White House. There's been like some off-season story. Like last year, was Chris Jones. Was Chris Jones going to show up and do all this stuff? This time, it's us having fun with it, like seeing what the guys are saying while they're up there as well and enjoying it. So it's kind of actually a nice breath of fresh air, minus what's been going on with the entire Chiefs organization. How a lot of headlines that they've been in.
Jeez Louise, I know, man. And one thing that I think would be if the Chiefs do complete the three-peat, it would be a great shtick for the NFL for a commercial to do one of like Travis Kelsey and Patrick Mahomes as tour guides at the White House because they've been there so often recently that they're like leading a tour of
that would be very
schoolers, funny. like sixth graders or whatever throughout the White House and explaining like all the history there and everything. That'd be a good shtick for a commercial. NFL. Hey, Roger Goodell, get your people on the phone with my people, and we'll talk about it.
We'll link up. Yeah.
Us Fan First Network people over here, us Foolish Club Media guys. Our friend over there at the Great British Chiefs Show, Brad Simcox. He's the one that coined the term Legion of Zoom back in the day and got an Emmy for it. For his work in coining the term Legion of Zoom. I I last year sent out a tweet saying that they should make that Netflix should make a Chiefsaholic documentary called a wolf in Chiefs clothing, right? And then it came out recently that Amazon Prime is making a documentary about Chiefsaholic, and it's called
I missed this.
And it's called A Wolf in Chiefs Clothing.
Oh,
like they named it the exact same thing that I tweeted out over a year ago,
Rocky.
saying that Netflix should have named it.
Oh,
Rocky. I had like an image. I did a mock-up of the artwork and everything. So I'm just saying,
just trademark that, buddy. You would have been a billionaire now because Bezos got his hand on it.
I don't care about the money. I don't care about the trademark. Somebody get in touch with me. I just want a credit. Just put me in the credits, like like additional concept by Rocky Magaña, and that's it. Title concept by Rocky Magaña.
They stole that from you. That ain't right. That ain't right.
Shocking that the man that the big conglomerate company sees a good idea that's not trademarked, and they go out there and they just steal it for themselves and make it happen because they got the resources. Call me not shocked, Kramer Sansone, that in the United States of America in 2024, the little man's getting hosed. Story of my life. Story of my life, Kramer.
Trust me, I feel like the hose has been on me the entire time, not even let up at this point in my lifetime.
I feel like they just took the fire hose, shoved it down my throat, and turned it on, and you're just like just gasping for air the entire time.
Oh boy. Boy.
So back to the White House, or a little bit kind of related to the White House, or just Travis Kelce in general. So heard a rumor from our official Chiefs correspondent. You said there's a little bit of something in the air, right? Something that a little birdie told you.
Yeah. So I guess during the Eras tour for Taylor Swift right now, her last set from her last show, which was I believe on it's on Sunday. The last 4 songs Taylor played were breakup songs that she had that were notoriously infamous. Like one was 15.
Nah.
And people speculations out there right now. It might be a little rocky road.
Don't do this to me. I'm a child of divorce, Kramer Sansone. Don't do this to me.
No,
I can't. I have to believe that love still exists in the world.
Rocky, it's just is it odd though that you'd go back to back to back to back breakup songs to end a show? Like, is that a coincidence, or is just it being the set list of that night?
I mean, if you're Taylor Swift, like, how many breakup songs does she have though? Like
a lot. Yeah,
a lot. And okay, excuse me, I'm gonna do a Google deep dive really quick.
Okay,
we gotta get to the bottom of this. We gotta see what's going on with this. And so
I don't want it to be wrong. I want to be wrong in this. I want to be wrong in this.
Okay.
I don't think there's even a right or wrong in this.
You said 15 was one of the songs. Okay, so yeah. Taylor Swift performed 15 on Sunday night in Lyon, France. This is on Entertainment Tonight, reputable entertainment source.
Very.
Just the gold standard.
If it's on the internet, it has to be legit.
If it's on the internet, Hope Sloop from Entertainment Tonight, right, wrote that Taylor Swift had a sweet reaction to a lyric in her song 15 that fans have immediately connected to Travis Kelce, and that she was blushing while she was singing it. That doesn't sound to me like she's breaking up with Travis Kelce, Kramer.
Good.
And then also looks like what's this one say? That while Travis Kelce was at the Big Slick recently, that there was an image caught. So Parade Magazine has this. An image was caught of Taylor Swift on Travis Kelce's lock screen. You don't have somebody on your lock screen if they broke up with you, unless you're like creeper, like stalker, like hung up on them sort of situation, which is a possibility. Travis is.
I don't think Travis is any of that, but I mean, you never know. He maybe had not had time to change the lock screen. He might just want to keep looking at it.
You think that Taylor broke up with him? He didn't change his lock screen because he's still hung up on her and trying to get back with her. That's the stance that you're taking.
No, here's the thing. What is it weird? Like, say Travis had his lock screen already as Taylor Swift, even before they started dating. Even before, because you already know there's people out there that have lock screens of Taylor Swift on their background or their foreground or even the lock screen. So is that weird? Or is it just the one that still stayed the entire time? I like asking questions. I know
It's
I ask
weird
questions I don't have answers
if it's your ex-girlfriend, it's weird.
True. That's I've never put my ex on there ever.
Yeah, that's weird. That's weird. But I don't think that he leaves it on there. Plus, when he was at Big Slick, he did a skit with Jason Sudeikis and some other guys. And in it, Jason Sudeikis calls him out and asks him when he's going to make a honest woman out of Taylor. And I don't think that if they broke up, Travis Kelce is signing off on that script and that skit to say when you make an honest woman out of Taylor.
But that was Friday or Saturday night that skit happened. That was performed on Sunday.
So you're trying to say that skit was the thing that caused them to get in a fight?
Hope not.
Like he said, Jason Sudeikis says, when are you going to make an honest woman out of Taylor? And then afterwards, Taylor says, yeah, Travis, when are you going to make an honest woman out of me? And then Travis says, baby, you know I love you. But, I'm focused on winning the 3rd championship right now. And then she says, I'm tired of always playing second fiddle to football. And he says, I only got 2 more years left. And she says, well, my biological clock is ticking now. And then next thing you know, they're fighting. And then one thing leads to another. That's what you're saying.
Basically. I hope I'm wrong.
I don't buy it.
Okay, good. Please.
Don't buy it.
I hope it's not legit.
They're still together. Hey, let us know.
I hate rumors.
Let us know in the comments. I think that love still exists in the world. Do you think that love still exists in the world?
Of course.
And that Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift are still in love? Or are you like Kramer Sansone, who doesn't believe in love at all? Like, I feel like your poor fiance. Does she know that she's married to somebody who doesn't believe in that she's getting married to somebody who doesn't believe in love?
Oh, I believe in love, Rocky. I want everything to work out. Everybody needs to experience love. If you haven't, it's out there. It's out there.
It's true. If you haven't experienced love, love is out there, and everybody is deserving of love. So yeah, no, we are a podcast that celebrates love and supports love. Okay, well, I'm glad we got to the bottom of that. So
good. We can bury that.
So what are we saying? Not on the rocks. They're happy. Love
they're
is
happy.
Still in the
Rocky,
air.
they're happy.
Okay. So we're calling BS on this rumor of them being on the rocks.
Yep. Let's
all right.
Yeah. We can simmer down on this one.
Simmer down now. simmer down now.
We can see it down.
Like a grilled cheese sandwich. Anyway, Bucker on kickoffs. So Bucker's word has it Bucker might be getting taken off kickoffs these days. Makes sense given the new kickoff rules. You don't want to have a guy like I think Dave Toub said that in the XFL kickers were involved in like 40% of the tackles on kickoffs, which makes sense considering the short distance that you're kicking it and you're traveling. You don't need a guy who can boom it through the back of the end zone anymore. It just doesn't make any sense. He said that they've been working with both Louis Rees-Zammit and Justin Reed on kickoffs, and that their goal is to get the ball on the floor, on the ground as fast as possible, because unlike the XFL, in the XFL, you have to wait till the player touches the ball before the defense can go. In the NFL, once the ball touches the ground, the defense can go. What do you think about this? What do you make heads or tails of this?
I love it, dude. Because I know Harrison Butker's he's not a physically specimen guy that's going to go out there and throw his shoulder, throw his head at somebody to try to get a tackle. That's just not going to happen. At least with Rees-Zammit, he's always been in contact with every sport that he was playing in rugby. He could kick it. He could tackle you. He can pick up the ball if he wanted to and score it if he wanted to. And, if that's even going to be a possibility, that would be bad. That would be way badass if we see a kicker force a fumble, pick it up, and return it. Because there's a possibility of that this year because of how spread out people are. And it's all in the positioning that you were to kick it. So you would want another tackler out on the field with it's either Justin Reed or the Rees-Zammit guy. It's going to be fun. It's going to be interesting. I can't wait to see how the kickoff's going to look in person.
I mean, just I can just imagine Justin Reed just back there kicking off and then just coming through and just laying the wood, and blowing you up and getting the ball and returning it back for a touchdown. It's just going to be so electric to watch how they do this year and
because the kickers have to plug that hole. He's going to have to at some point.
Yeah, 40% of tackles. 40% of tackles the kickers are involved in the XFL, and it's going to be even more in the NFL, I think, because of them kicking away.
Let me kick.
Yeah. You want to be the Chiefs kicker?
That'd be sweet, dude. You know how that would be awesome.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. It would be an awesome job.
I could do it.
Yeah, I believe in you. I think you could. Brett Veach, call our boy Kramer up.
Yeah,
he wants to give him a shot at the position. Open. Give him a chance. Let him battle for the position. What are you scared of?
Exactly. I don't have to get paid during that time. I'm fine with it. Not. Nah. As long as I get a uniform out of it.
Just bring him in as a camp body and let him compete. That's all we ask.
Right, exactly. That'd be sweet. Get me there, people. Get me there.
So, and the interesting thing about this is that Dave Toub said that they've been trying a lot of different plays. He said he watched every single XFL play and kickoff, and he's drawn up a lot of plays for kickoffs. And one of them came back from the NFL, and they said, "No, you can't do that. That's illegal." And I want to know what that was. I want to know what that like. What do you think? What could that possibly be? That he's like, I want to do this on kickoffs, and it's illegal. And they're like, no, that's illegal.
I hope it's not like double end arounds with a toss in between there at some point, because you can get very funky with the creativity of execution of plays when you're receiving it, because everybody's spread out. You have to be spread out. You have to be like basically within arm's length of each other when you're all lined up on that 20-yard line. So you can do some crazy odd things. And if I don't see a player where it's like, oh no, we can't lateral it backwards twice, or that's deemed unfair because of the positioning of players. But I'm curious to see what it is, because I'm Rocky. I'm all jazzed. I love special teams, and I was heartbroken at one point thinking that they were going to get rid of the kickoff. And now just bringing in what they do in the XFL just has me all giddy. So I was hoping they were able to let everything go for those first season to see if we can get creative and like, all right, now you can't, like how the Raiders were raising the football up, elevate a little bit more on the tee when they did kick it off so they can have it more airtime, which we might see a little bit of that too, possibly. So I don't know. I'm all for it, trying to break the bend in the rules when it comes to special teams. But let's throw it all out there right now first. Then we'll say, hey, we can't do that after week one.
And I'm all for that as well, honestly. With like the pooch kick, like up high in the air. So Toub said, like Chiefs assistant head coach and special teams coordinator Dave Toub said that their focus right now is to get the ball on the ground as fast as possible, because the moment the ball touches the ground is when the defense can go. And so the only thing with the pooch kick would be, what's the benefit if you can't go until it touches the ground or they catch it, right?
Right.
And so I think you're gonna see a lot of squib kicks. I think you're gonna see a lot of like,
but it can't roll out of bounds or into the end zone though.
Yeah, so I think you're gonna want to see like a high bounce or something like that, or like that one where they kick it and it like spins, like that spinning kick one that like or spins on its side like a saucer.
You need to do one where it goes, bounces, then it comes back towards your kicker.
Yeah, so that's what I was thinking. Like, and you obviously couldn't do this because the crossbar is out of bounds. But like, what's the equivalent of like throwing it off the backboard from the free throw line in basketball for like football on this? Like, you can't kick it off the crossbar and have it bounce back. But could you just like smoke it as hard as you can off of the defender's face mask, just right there? Because it's only 10 yards away, right? Just smoke it off his face mask as hard as you can and kick it right at the guy who has the worst hands, and then just get the ball back.
Like kind of like a missile almost. Like you can like do a guided directed kick right there, get the guy, dome it in his face, and he goes right back to you. Now that would be great. That would be awesome, because what can that guy do besides just stand there, try to catch it, and you see a ball coming at you hot when you're not expecting it, you're not going to catch it. You're just not.
Well, yeah, and like myself, you played football, you've worn a helmet before. There's blind spots, right? Like what if you kicked it diagonally and hit a dude in the side of the dome, right? Just bounced it off the side of his helmet, like.
Hey, because depending on how you stand, you don't really want to stand There's gonna be some guys lining up directly at each other, but there's also gonna be some guys like are gonna be angled. So
That's what I'm saying. Like, there's
you could get funky
is
with it,
that the
dude.
thing where they were like, you can't do that, or
But how
they should?
accurate can your kicker be though? If you're not trying to get Butker out there, who would be arguably your most accurate kicker, you're not making a play like that for Reese Zammit or Justin Reach. You're just not.
I mean, there's a lot of kicking that goes on in rugby.
If that's the case, then why is Butker even on the team now?
For field goals.
Yeah, but we already seen that Justin Reed could do that.
Yeah, but not from like 60 yards like Butker can.
True. Man, that's the life. Getting paid millions just to kick 60-yarders, dude. That's
to kick.
incredible.
You don't have to do kickoffs. You don't have to run anymore.
He doesn't have to worry about getting. He has to only worry about getting tackled at least maybe once in the next 300 games if he does play 300 games.
The only way he's going to get tackled is if his kick gets blocked and he like picks it up and tries to run it.
Yeah, and that's rare. Well, I mean, for him to pick it up and run it, because it'd always go back to whoever the holder is. They try to go get it.
Yeah, the holder's going to get it or something, like, man, Harrison's like never going to get his uniform dirty again.
Good for
as
him.
long as he lives. He's just going to have a pristine, uniform. Like being a place kicker now is all of a sudden the greatest job in sport in professional sports.
It might be the hardest job though.
Yeah, I used to say that like being a backup quarterback was awesome because you just got to sit and hang out with you get to like for instance, like being Carson Wentz is super cool because you just get to hang out with Patrick Mahomes all day long. And
I think you're the first person who's ever said that being Carson Wentz is super cool.
Well, it's super cool now. It wasn't always super cool to be Carson Wentz, but like now it's super cool to be Carson Wentz because you just get to hang out with Patrick Mahomes all day and knock on wood. Unless tragedy strikes, you're never going to be in the game until maybe week 18 when the Chiefs have already locked up the division, right? And then you get to go out there and play a game, but you just sit on the sideline and talk to him. You just get to hang out with Patrick Mahomes and show him, hold an iPad and show him video clips on the sideline and say, here's what I'm seeing, buddy. Like, that's a great job.
Or this is what I hunted the other day.
Yeah, exactly. Like, right? Like you could say like, oh, hey, everybody in the QB room, let's all go out to lunch together, right? Like there's all sorts of things that you could do just by like sheer like proximity to Patrick Mahomes if you're the backup quarterback. I mean, like only thing better than be a backup quarterback would maybe be a third string quarterback, but I'm going to say backup because backup quarterbacks still make a good salary usually, right? You still make a couple million as a backup quarterback on the Chiefs. Versus like if you're a third stringer, I mean, like honestly, I'm not gonna begrudge any NFL salary. Like I'm I'm only making $670,000 or whatever they're making, right? Like
I wish I was making that right now. That'd be nice.
Let's pull back the curtain for a minute, guys. We don't make $670,000.
I'll never set up my bank account ever in my life.
Don't say never. You don't know
how the rate this is going, and we'll see.
Hey. Kramer, we're shooting for the stars, buddy.
You're right.
Someday.
You're right, Rocky.
Someday we will have that in our bank account. Do you think Pat McAfee always had? Well, he was a professional football player beforehand. But you get what I'm saying.
I get what you mean. I'm catching what you're throwing.
People don't start out where they end up. All right. Well, fortunately, we have another Chief in the news this week for all the wrong reasons.
Yep. Being stupid is what he's doing.
Defensive lineman Isaiah Buggs was arrested for animal cruelty. The police were called to his home. And he had 3 dogs on his back porch. One was malnourished to the point that it had to be put down. Buggs claims that he didn't know the dogs were there and that they weren't his dogs. I don't know. I don't know what to think about this. Obviously, if Isaiah Buggs was being cruel to animals and being cruel to dogs to the point that one had to be put down, then that's a really, really bad situation. And
not cool.
Not cool at all. You don't treat man's best friend that way. Obviously, I mean, let's be honest. In America in this day and age, you can beat up a human being and get forgiven for it. But you can't hit a dog. Nope. You can't. And that's the court of public opinion right there. and for good reason, because they are helpless
Yep.
and they are loyal and they just love you and they want to be your best friend. And for you to abuse them like that is a weird power dynamic that I don't understand and not cool at all. We don't know the details of the situation, so I don't want to speculate anything beyond that. But
And even
just
if
not,
it was like weren't his dogs, still not cool to the people who, if they were to try to set him up by any means. I'm not saying if this was a setup or it doesn't matter. It's still a bad look no matter what, how it even turns out to be. It's just gross and disgusting. Like that. Why?
whether it was his fault or not, whoever abused those dogs and caged them up and left them there and starved them is a scumbag, degenerate human being who deserves to have,
The same
who
exact
deserves,
treatment.
who deserves to be locked in a cage themselves. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I got no respect, no love for somebody who treats animals that way. And it just sucks because, like, it's not even like Rashi Rice is obviously a major player on the team. But aside from that, the people who are causing the most headlines aren't even that crucial
Like I didn't even know
to
who this
to
guy
a Super Bowl
was.
run.
If I'm being honest, like I don't
I
know who
mean,
the heck this Bucks dude is.
he's a French player, right? He's a depth piece. He's a guy who's not even guaranteed to make the team, and who, if this comes out where he's going to miss time or he is convicted in any way, shape, or form, he gone. He gone. The Chiefs are. He's not a guy that the Chiefs are going to hold on to, who's going to weather this storm, who they're going to stand by him because of his talent. He's not. He's not that guy, right? He's not Chris Jones. He's not George Karlaftis. He's not Travis Kelce or anybody else on the team who would never find themselves in this situation in the first place. So yeah, I don't want to waste too much time on it. It just sucks that that another player is in the news for the wrong thing again. All right, we're gonna have a little bit of chit chat here and have a little talk, a little bit of debate, Kramer. So I know how you're gonna feel about this and what you're gonna say, and I'm gonna disagree with you right off the bat. But all right, today we're gonna try to decide. Let's Today we're gonna try to pick who is the best running back in the history of the AFC West. Like, so we think about it like, okay, so who are the natural contenders? Like, you got Bo Jackson, Marcus Allen, LaDainian Tomlinson, Jamal Charles,
think about LT,
Terrell Davis,
Priest Holmes.
You go back even further, Joe Delaney. I'll put Joe Delaney's name out there too. Who do you think is the greatest run? Oh, Christian Okoye.
Oh yeah, can't forget Okoye.
Yeah. So who do you think is the greatest running back in AFC West history?
I believe it's Marcus Allen. Marcus Allen, he was amazing for the Raiders. Heck, he was a touchdown scoring machine whenever he was in his later years in Kansas City here. It just seemed like he could do nothing wrong on the football field. He could break tackles. If he needed to take over a game, he would. Always able to find a hole. And it's just great explosive, great agility. This dude did it all back in the day where running backs were, you needed a running back in order to win. And he did it.
Listen, the guy was amazing. I love Marcus Allen.
He's a menace.
He was amazing for the Chiefs. He was amazing for the Chiefs. He was a guaranteed 4 yards every single handoff, no matter what. He picked up so many first downs and moved the chains for the Chiefs. That being said, let's count it here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times in his career, he averaged less than 4 yards a carry. 7 times in his career.
That's wild.
He never had over 13 touchdowns. He had 13 touchdowns, was the highest touchdown total he had in his career. He had 11 twice and 12 twice, but then he also had 9, 5, 5, 7, 2, 2, 2, 7, 5, 5, 9. right? Like I love Marcus Allen, but when you consider the fact that Jamal Charles averaged 5.4 yards a carry across his entire career, including when he spent time in Denver and Jacksonville when he had already fallen off and it sunk his average carry yard, his average yards per carry stats. Like when he was with the Chiefs, like his workload wasn't as high as other players, but it didn't have to be because he gained more yards per carry than anybody else. There's not a single running back in history who has had a higher yards per carry, who's had over. So Bo Jackson had a slightly higher yards per carry than Jamal Charles did, except for Jamal Charles had 900 more carries than Bo Jackson had. Bo Jackson had a 5.4 yards per carry flat, and Jamal Charles came out to like 5.38, right? Like, okay, but Jamal Charles had 900 more carries. Jamal Charles is the only guy with over 550 carries in NFL history to average 5.38 yards per carry.
Don't get me wrong. Jamal was amazing. He was so good. It was fun to watch because he broke one.
He should be in the Hall of Fame. He should be in the Hall of Fame. And the fact that he's not is a tragedy because he didn't play as many years as a guy like Marcus Allen. Like that was the thing that like got Marcus Allen in the NFL. I mean, and the Hall of Fame was that he played for a really long time. He played for 16 seasons.
Running backs in the NFL. Great career.
Yeah. 3,000 yard seasons. 3,000 yard seasons in 16 years. Like, and I know that he was splitting carries with Bo Jackson for part of that, and that he wasn't the featured back like he should have been. But then again, are you the best running back in the history of the AFC West if you're not even the feature back on your team?
Yeah, you can be. Yeah. Why not?
I don't know.
He's so reliable.
I mean, I don't think the numbers bear out like next to Jamal Charles and what Jamal Charles was and how electric Jamal Charles was. Now, listen, Marcus Allen was so electric early in his career. Like you see that highlight of him reversing field, busting it out, like he was awesome. But I think you take Jamal's best runs and you put him next to Marcus Allen's best runs, and there's not as much difference as people think. And Jamal Charles, the stats bear out that even though he didn't do it for as long, he was a more electric player consistently.
Yeah.
Now, LaDainian Tomlinson, that's where you may have an argument in my mind against Jamal Charles. Just because of the consistency and the time that he was
another 20 years in the league just scoring touchdowns.
Yeah, so LaDainian Tomlinson played 11 seasons, but when he was in San Diego, 1,200 yards, 1,600 yards, 1,600 yards, 1,300 yards, 1,400 yards, 1,800 yards, 1,400 yards, 1,100 yards, with 10 touchdowns, 14 touchdowns, 13 touchdowns, 17 touchdowns, 18 touchdowns, 28 touchdowns, 15 touchdowns, 11 touchdowns, 12 touchdowns. Like
he's a great fantasy football running back. He's the one you wanted to draft first round.
The man was a stud. Now he also had 5 seasons where he averaged less than 4 yards a carry, which is crazy. So like a lot of these guys, like, and listen, I love LaDainian Tomlinson. I'm going to say that you could argue that LaDainian Tomlinson is the greatest running back in AFC West history.
Yeah,
but I'm still going with Jamal because
I respect it. I do.
These guys they had so many more rushing attempts than Jamal did, and Jamal's numbers aren't that far off. I mean the touchdown numbers aren't as great as aren't even close to LaDainian Tomlinson's. I'm not even going to pretend that they are. But I mean LaDainian Tomlinson had 2,000 more rushing attempts than Jamal Charles did in his career. Like that's insane. Like he definitely was a volume rusher, and it was in the day and age in the NFL where that's what you did. Like you drafted a running back in the first round and you fed him, right? And he carried your entire team. I don't know. You're taking Marcus Allen. I'm taking Jamal Charles. We're both homers. And I'm not taking LaDainian Thompson because he didn't play for the Chiefs. And I'm just going to say it. I'm going with our guy.
Okay.
And
Hey, I like it.
So sue me.
Yeah, same. Sue me too. But not really.
Tell us what you think in the comments. Whether you who do you think is the best running back in Chiefs history? Well, not in Chiefs history, in AFC West history, but it should be a Chief. Let's be honest.
Hey, at least Marcus Allen was a Chief at one point.
Yeah, so Marcus Allen was a Chief at one point, so I can't hate you there. Like he was a great Chief. Like here's the thing, Marcus Allen was an
stupid
awesome
how good
Chief.
he was. Like this last season he played, he had like less than like 500 yards, but still put up double-digit touchdowns. Stupid.
Every one of his runs was for like a first down. I feel like he ran for 500 yards, and it was like for like 60 first downs. Like it was like everyone was like exactly 4 yards and a first down. Like he would go through up the middle and just lay forward and just fall forward for 4 yards and pick up a first down, and then just do that over and over again, just all the way down the field when he was in Kansas City. It was awesome because he was consistent, and you always knew that he was going to get the short yardage and get the first down when you needed it. So this isn't me begrudging Marcus Allen by any means, because he was a great Chief. All right. In other news, came out that the New England Patriots tried to trade up for Xavier Worthy at the same time the Chiefs were trying to trade up for Xavier Worthy, and the Buffalo Bills chose the Chiefs over the Patriots. Now I don't know what draft compensation the Pats were offering for Worthy, but the story that I saw on Pat McAfee was that they didn't want to trade within their division per se, right? Like the Bills didn't. But if I'm the Bills GM, I don't want to trade with the team that knocks me out of the playoffs every single season and who ended my season last year. Like I'm not scared of the Pats. Like don't play like you're scared of the Pats. The Pats have not been good for how long, right? They sure they took a rookie quarterback in the first round and maybe they're on the verge of rebooting, but they haven't proven anything yet. What if they haven't done anything yet, but be horrible for the last, 7, 8, 6 seasons, however long it's been since Brady left. And so I'm sure as hell trading with the Pats over the Chiefs if I'm the Bills.
I'd say I don't know. I'm still sticking with I'm not trading in division. Like I still refuse to. But then we also seen that like this isn't the first time that the Chiefs made a deal with a team that's trying to beat them. I mean, we saw when the tackle they got from Baltimore. Why can't his name's escaping me right now? Orlando Brown
Jr.
Like that, it's like another trade type thing that it was a head scratcher at the time. Like, oh, you just gave the Chiefs something that they needed. The Chiefs needed a wide receiver here. They traded up with the Bills to get Xavier Worthy. I mean, it's not like if the Pats were to trade to get Xavier Worthy, it's not like the Pats were, okay, Drake May might be the next great biggest thing there in New England, but it's still a biggest question mark right there. You're actually knowing that the Chiefs have a reliable quarterback, a quarterback that's a multi-time Super Bowl champion, MVP, you name it, the accolades are there, and you give them a weapon. Buffalo, you're stupid. You're stupid, Buffalo. You gave them a better help.
Like what was the Chiefs' limitation last year? They couldn't stretch the field, right? Like the Chiefs couldn't stretch the field last year, and it limited what they can do. Like you think the Pats just forgot how to throw the ball far? No, he didn't have anybody far to throw it too far last year, and so they go out and get Hollywood Brown, and then now you're letting them get Xavier Worthy as well to stretch the field. Man, the Bills. There's a reason why some organizations never win Super Bowls, right? Like you could build a good team, but you just do something like let the Chiefs trade out for Patrick Mahomes, decide to trade Xavier Worthy to the Chiefs instead of the Patriots because you're afraid of trading in division. How about you just stand pat then and just don't trade with anybody? If you're afraid to trade with the Pats, then you should be more afraid to trade with the Chiefs.
Yeah,
and you should just stand pat and not trade with either one of them. But if you're more afraid to trade with the Patriots and the Chiefs, then you're afraid of the wrong thing.
And it's also concerning because it seems like any single time the Chiefs are to trade up, whether if it's the first round, second round, and any round, to get their guy, that guy usually turns out to being good.
Yeah. And well, here's what this sounds like to me, honestly, is that if you trade with the Chiefs, and they go on and they do something awesome with like Xavier Worthy goes on to be awesome, but you win your division, then you're still going to keep your job as the GM. But if you trade to the Pat, if you lose your division to the Pats after you trade with them, that's when you're going to lose your job. It sounds to me like the Bills aren't trying to win a Super Bowl. The Bills are trying to win their division and keep their jobs. That's what it sounds like to me.
That's terrible. Because they removed their motto or whatever it was in the practice facility to get them going. Like, we can get to the Super Bowl. They removed it.
Yeah, they removed it. Yeah,
their window's closed. Windows closed, baby.
They're just trying to keep their jobs this year and have a winning record and win their division. And that's not the way you build a team. That's not the way you operate.
It's not enough.
Not enough. It's not good enough. So OTAs been going on this past week. And Chiefs drafted 2 new defensive backs as well. Jalen Hicks and Kamal Haddon, safety and cornerback. And Steve Spagnuolo came out after OTAs and he said they looked really good in rookie minicamp, but then they both came out and made some mistakes today in OTAs, which is to be expected, right? It's to be expected. But then he went on to say about Kamal Haddon, we'll see if he has what it takes to stick in this league, which is like, that's an interesting thing to say, right? To say about the kid. I don't know if he's just trying to motivate him and like trying to keep him like on his grind, right? Because then after that, Dave Merritt came out and said, man, Kamal Haddon reminds me of Bashad Breeland, and he's just a physical guy who gets in there and gets grimy and is not afraid to put in the work. And Jaden Hicks is, if I drew up a safety in a lab and designed him, like it would look like Jaden Hicks, right? Like he's like my prototypical safety, which sounds exciting. Sounds really exciting. Sounds like he likes him a lot. But how much of this do you think is just Spagnuolo trying to like keep the rookies' heads on straight and like tell them like, hey, if you want to get on the field and be a part of this defense, you're going to need to work for it, and you're going to need to show me. You're going to need to beat somebody out and show me that you're the better player if you want to get on the field with this defense, or over like these guys actually are in. Maybe don't have what it takes.
Spagnuolo's going to put out the great mindset for them. I think this is good. He said that about Hicks, right?
Yeah, he said about both of them.
About both. Well, still, it's him saying that shows that 1, he cares. 2, he wants them to get better because, I mean, they're there for a reason. They were drafted, they were selected, or even undrafted. They were there. They're there for a reason. They know they have some talent, and they're trying to unlock that and elevate them even better as a player for itself. And I don't mind those comments from him. This is more like a good cop, bad cop situation that Spags went in there throughout everything. Like, these guys stink. They suck. I don't know why we even have them on the team. They don't even need to be here. They're not even NFL caliber. Put them in the XFL. It's not like he's went all above beyond that. He just wants them to get better. And they continue to grow, learning what they've gotten through OTAs. I believe this is their 3rd and final week right now anyways. And then there's a break. And then we got to worry about how training camp's going to go, because if they don't get it between the end of this week until the beginning of not spring training, I'm in a baseball mindset, and training camp, then they won't be on the team. But I'm hoping between now and then, Spags, we start to hear a little bit more from his voice. It's like, I mean, they're improving. Like, that's all we need them to do is improve.
Well, I think also, like, we forget because Spags' hand was forced so much with like the big 5 defensive backs that the Chiefs drafted when they won the Super Bowl against the Eagles, is that traditionally Spags wants to start veterans. Like Spags doesn't want to start rookies on his defense. Like traditionally, it takes time to earn your way on the field in Steve Spagnuolo's defense. Like, how long did we see Dan Sorensen and Ben Neiman hold down roster spots on this defense because they were veterans over guys like Willie Gay when they first came in and that sort of stuff? And it's because you have to earn Spags' trust in most cases before he'll put you on the field, because he needs to know over athleticism Steve Spagnuolo wants to know that you're going to be in the right place at the right time, because he blitzes so much that if you blow your coverage and you're not in the right zone, or you're not in the right place, or you don't jam your man or whatever, then the guy's going to be wide open and there's not going to be anything on the back end, right? Like on those plays. And so he has to know that you're going to do your job. You don't. And so I think that he would sacrifice athletic talent over people being in the right place, right? But unfortunately, when the Chiefs, drafted those 5 defensive backs, they were at a point where they just had nobody, right? And they didn't have he didn't have a choice but to start them, right. That year. And so, but the Chiefs aren't in that situation anymore, right? The Chiefs, like those guys that the Chiefs drafted, are all going into their 3rd season now. Like they're veterans. Yeah, they're veterans now. They have 2 Super Bowls. They're 2-time Super Bowl champions, and since they've been drafted, right? And so there's no need for Steve Spagnuolo to push it. And then they also have Kelvin Joseph back there battling. Whether or not he's going to be anything, nobody. Like Steve Spagnuolo basically said that he's like a rookie at this point in his eyes, right? That Kelvin Joseph is just out there swimming. He just needs to keep swimming, and maybe he'll latch on, is basically what Steve Spagnuolo said. And it makes sense. It makes sense. We'll see what happens. It's going to be interesting to watch. I'm excited to get for like organized team activities where the whole team is there, right? Like make mandatory.
Oh, same.
I'm ready for mandatory OTAs and for training camp, for that sort of thing to kick up, and to see actual training camp battles, and to see one like legit ones going versus legit ones, and that sort of thing. Football is right around the corner. It's getting here closer every single day, and I cannot wait. I am,
dude. Same here, man. It's football. It's not my main passion. It's baseball, clear as day. That's me. I hold a baseball 24/7 in my hands. Whatever I'm doing, all the times. I don't know why, but it's been growing and growing and growing more onto me ever since I started actually covering the Chiefs. Like, man, I actually can't wait to actually start doing football crap. It's odd.
Yeah, it's great. And listen, football baseball was my first love too. Like as a kid growing up, I played baseball before I played anything else. And you'll see I have a Royals tattoo on my arm here, right? Like I'm a diehard Royals fan.
That's so clean.
Yeah, I got it. I got this when we won the World Series. That was my celebration. I got it the very next day. I love baseball. I love baseball to death. But the Chiefs are my passion, and I cannot wait for football to start back up. And speaking of football starting back up, we do have a position battle going on right now as we speak at OTAs. The punter battle is kicking up, they say. Which is crazy. Like that to say the punter battle, but with Tommy Townsend, moving on to greener pastures, the Chiefs signed the punt god Matt Araiza. And people just kind of assumed that he was going to be the Chiefs punter this year, but not so fast. The Chiefs said not so fast. They have an undrafted free agent currently in OTAs, former Brigham Young Cougars punter Ryan Redcow, the 24-year-old punter who punted for BYU last year, is giving the punt god a run for his money in off-season workouts right now. And every word that's coming out of there is that it's a lot closer than people think. And Dave Toub said Harrison Butker is going to be involved in the decision because this person's going to be his holder.
Oh, wow. So it's going to go down to who can hold Harrison Butker's balls.
Yeah, whoever can hold Harrison Butker's balls the firmest and the most safely, whoever has the safest grip and most secure grip on Harrison Butker's balls is the one who's going to end up winning this punting competition. So who's your money on to hold Harrison, to really have a firm grip on Harrison Butker's balls?
Oh boy. Both these guys haven't seen a single lick of NFL competition. Haven't played a single game once. I don't know. I think I want to give the chance to see what the punt god has coming through here. But if you get a guy that's undrafted, that's a great story. An undrafted guy able to get on the Chiefs team and just lock it down and becomes the next Chiefs punter for the next 5 to 6 years or however long his contract is. That's an awesome story. So honestly, I'll flip a coin. Whoever lands on it, I'm happy either way.
You know what's better than being the punt god? Being the guy who beats the punt god out for his job.
That's true.
Like, people like an underdog, and when you give yourself a nickname like the punt god, you're automatically never the underdog.
That's
like
true.
You can't have a nickname like the punt god and be the underdog. So I'm a fan of the underdogs. I mean, my name's Rocky, for God's sakes. Like, the greatest underdog in sports history, Rocky Balboa. And so I always pull for the underdog. And so I'm going Ryan Rakehout. I want to see him be the Chiefs' next punter. And I honestly haven't seen either one of them. I got no insight whatsoever other than, you know what? I like the underdog. I'm going to go back and watch some tape. I'm going to watch some punter. Our assignments this week is we need to watch some punter tape and report back to the people on what we see and who the better punter actually is, and we got to see if either one of them has any holding experience, right? Like did one of them hold in college versus the other one? And so we got some homework to do, Kramer.
Yeah, okay, I'm down. This is my kind of homework I love. So, oh yeah,
all right, perfect. All right, you guys, you hold us accountable, guys. Because we're gonna, if we don't come back with some info by next week on this, then call us out for the Lion SOBs that we are. Last thing we're gonna get into today before we get out of here is the Chiefs wide receiving unit is interesting to me right now, right? Like, we got like 4 locked in guys the way I see it is Rice is a lock, Worthy's a lock, Hollywood's a lock, Justin Watson's a lock. Okay, right?
I was curious to see if you were gonna say Justin was, because I think he should.
I think Justin Watson's a lock. Beyond that, you probably have 2 more positions, like 2 more names on the roster that make it. Who gets those final 2 spots in your mind?
I liked what he did last year on the team, Montreal Washington. I think he should be able to have not say, but he was a good returner whenever he was there. When they called him up to do so after either there was the injuries or whether they just gave it away from Tony or even Sky Moore. I think Washington should be at 1, and I think Tony. I think it's the obvious. I want to say obvious answer because the athletic ability he has. But if you're trying to say Sky Moore is it, Justin Ross is it, I don't believe in any of those 2 dudes being able to do anything on a football field. So yeah, I'm gonna say Washington and Tony.
I would love to see Washington. I think that he did great and he has special teams value. Mm-hmm. I think that Reed Zammit may cut into his chances to making the roster, though, just because Reed Zammit has the return skills as well.
But they had Washington use him. Did they use him like on a couple plays on like a screen or a sweep?
Yeah, they did. They did. I think that the Chiefs don't know how to quit Kadarius Toney. Yeah, also, unfortunately, Matt Nagy said this week he's so talented. We as coaches need to be able to put him in the right spot, to not overdo it with him, but to let him kind of go into this and just let things play out. When he has the ball in his hands, he's special. That doesn't sound like a guy they trust. That sounds like a guy where they're like, we need to manufacture some touches for this guy because he's athletic and he can make guys miss and he can break one at any point in time. But we're not trusting him to know a playbook or to run a route or to do anything else. We're saying, hey, Kadarius, run a wide receiver screen. Hey, Kadarius, here's a jet sweep.
Or just, hey, Kadarius, catch the football.
Yeah, catch the football. Don't drop the football. But, like, they're not giving him any sort of, like, complex, route combinations or any sort of, like, option routes or anything like that. Like, there's nothing that they're going to give him that's going to, quote, unquote, overwhelm him. Right. And call me crazy, but you're an effing professional football player. Like, I don't want a guy on my team that's that limited. Right. And so I think the Chiefs, I don't know, man. I don't want to say, like, I want to say he doesn't make the team, but I just
feel like he will. I just don't know why.
I'm gonna say he's not gonna make the team, and then he's gonna make the team, and they're gonna try to give like six targets to him on week 1 or like 6 manufactured touches, and it's going to drive me insane.
I think you and I both have the same exact viewpoint and opinion when it comes to Kadarius Toney, because like I feel the exact same way. It's like why wouldn't they keep him, and why would they keep him? It's like there's too many like similarities of like just why not? Let's kick the tires. He's too athletic.
The argument of why they don't keep him is twofold. A, does Sky Moore have enough to beat him out, right? Because Sky Moore and Kadarius Toney don't both make this roster this year, I don't think.
When Sky Moore gave up on that one, it was just like a little lob pass where he got the angle. He broke the guy covering him. All he had to do was look up and put his hands up. He would make the catch. He gave up on the play. All before the ball, the ball went his way. That's when I was done with Sky Moore.
The thing about it is that how much do they like Justin Ross? Is he going to make the roster again? He's a bubble guy. Yeah. But that's the thing is, though, you're only going to carry like 6 wide receivers on your active roster, right? We've already named four guys. So that means that 2 guys who made the roster, the Chiefs have 2 new wide receivers this year, and they had one that went out that was outgoing. I guess Richie James was also outgoing, but the wild cards to me this year are Justin Ross and Nico Remigio, right? Like I think that if Remigio stays healthy, he has a good shot of making the roster. Matt Nagy said he's looking good in OTAs, and being an undrafted guy, he said he could be a fun story if he makes the team. It was the quote by Matt Nagy. So there's no guarantee that he's going to make the team by any means, but he's definitely on their radar, right? And if Kadarius Toney can't grasp the playbook, and Sky Moore isn't athletic enough to make the team, and Justin Ross maybe gets injured, there's a path there for him to make the roster. I think that any of these guys, you could take any of those 2 names that we just named, and any of those 2 guys could make the roster.
Yeah.
When it's all like there's going to be a battle for 2 wide receiver roster spots. And that's if the Chiefs don't add another body between now and then.
And I highly doubt they do. I really doubt it. Because
at this point,
if they do, then that makes the entire room incredibly crowded. Because can't Reese Zammit? He can also be a wide receiver. They can line him out.
Yeah. They're currently listing him as a running back on the depth chart. I think he's just kind of be like a specialist type guy for the most part, probably his first year. But they would have to carry him on the 53, so they got to carry him somewhere, right? Yeah. So regardless, he's taking a roster spot.
Because someone will. Because I mean, even if like the Bills getting that Gable Stevenson guy who's never played football in his entire life, he's just a wrestler. People will go out there their way just to get a guy who has talent.
I can't wait for him. I think he's going to be awesome.
Yeah,
I love Gable Stevenson as a wrestler. He's an awesome wrestler, like actual Olympic wrestler. He was amazing. He's an amazing actual wrestler. But that's the whole thing too. Is like with Reese Zammit, they're going to carry him on the roster. So that means that Keontae Ingram is on the bubble, right? Because are you going to carry 4 running backs then, right? Because Clyde and Pacheco are both going to make the team.
And people love Deneric Prince, but we'll see if he makes the team.
Yeah, like I don't see Prince making the team because of Reese Zammit. And so are the Chiefs going to say, okay, Reese Zammit is our running back 4 / wide receiver 6? And try to kind of do it that way, or are they just going to say he's just a pure special teamer type of spot, and we're not really considering him in the depth chart argument, right? You know what I mean? Like I don't know. I really don't know. This is why we have training camp battles, right? And it's going to be so interesting to watch and see how it all plays out. Because you can only there's too many names in the mix right now for the Chiefs to keep them all. Like there's somebody who is a name that the Chiefs fans will recognize from that got playing time last year that's not going to make the team this year because of somebody else. And it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see, Kramer.
Hey, it's 93 days until kickoff when this is recording.
93 days. Wow. We're almost at 92 days, Kramer.
Yeah.
That's what that means. God bless it. God bless it. Okay. Well, anyway, guys, thank you so much for hanging with us for this hour and 14-minute long podcast and just kicking it with us. We always appreciate you guys. If you think that we've earned the privilege of your time, please leave a 5-star review, because obviously we're building up this thing here. We're doing great things.
Brick by brick,
support.
we're building it up.
Brick by brick, we're cutting wood. We're building it up. We're doing the damn thing. So leave a review, like it, comment, give us some feedback. Even if you don't like it, still give us some feedback. All feedback is a gift. As always, Crame Dog, I love you, man.
Love you too, Rocky.
I even if nobody listened to our podcast, which people do listen to our podcast, thank God. But thank you, seriously. But even if nobody listened to our podcast, I would still just get on here and hang out with you, because I just like talking to you, buddy.
I'm just happy I have enough energy today in order to do this, because I this was electric. Love it. Always.
You bring it every single time. Gosh,
I try to.
You're a king amongst men, Kramer Sansone.
Learned it from a friend of mine named Rocky Magaña. Always bringing it when he comes on here.
You're too kind. We'll stop flashing We'll stop all the self-congratulatory talk, and we'll let the people get out of here. So that being said, guys, thank you so much. We'll talk to you guys next week, and be good to each other and love each other. We'll talk to you soon.